Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Let's go down a rabbit hole and make Joe Rogan really mad.
I know.
Let's make him mad because he's going to be like, excuse me,
I'm the official rabbit holer.
you are not bona fide.
I'm
Okay.
certified. I'm in the rabbit hole union.
Excuse me. I've gone through the university and I received my diploma.
In rabbit holes.
My rabbit hole diploma. I majored in it. And that's why I get to have Robert Downey Jr. on. Because he's a rabbit hole too. You notice that he'll have all these actors on, and then they'll go down rabbit holes. Like Charlie Sheen's on there. Like Charlie Sheen's giving his takes on JFK. It's like, dude.
Oh God, like he knows. You know what though? He'll probably end up doing a podcast. I've noticed like all these actors are now starting podcasts.
Maybe we can go watch him at the Hollywood Bowl.
We'll go buy tickets to watch him talk.
I like Jason Bateman. Or what's his name?
Yeah, Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman.
Yeah. So this this rabbit hole is sort of like a huge rabbit hole. It's like all encompassing. It's like a rabbit hole that's like leads off into like every other possible rabbit
The
hole.
main rabbit hole leads to this one.
Well, yeah, like this.
Like it drips down and you go, where's the source? Oh, here it is.
This is basically every possible rabbit hole in the world right here.
That's right.
So we're not going to cover every possible rabbit hole, but we're going to touch on like some of the top ones.
You know what this episode reminds me of is I remember I was in a sales meeting and the sales manager was like trying to get us to overcome objections from customers.
Oh, got it. And there was a way to like combat any no.
Well,
any
it was
no,
like
here's the answer for it. Here's
it was like he said it to me, so I was like, well, I could tell that they didn't have the money to make the purchase right now, and he goes, excuse me, Firefly, what you've done right now is something very important. You've made an assumption. And then he writes the word assume on the board. And he goes, what happens when you make an assumption? You make an ass out of you and me.
Ew, it's so clever.
But that's what I think I think Satan is making an ass out of you and me.
Totally.
Because what we're talking about today is all of these assumptions that we're just supposed to swallow that might just completely be Kool-Aid, but just collectively, like the general consensus is, this is true.
This is true. So we're talking about assumptions and assuming. Are we as human beings, are we to assume that everything we're told is true?
Yes.
It kind of seems that way.
Well, if somebody on TV says it,
yeah,
or someone on the internet.
Like on the news, if they tell you that this particular thing happened or is happening, we are supposed to just say, okay, and assume it's true. Or,
you know where it's also validated is if you learn it in college.
I was just going to say, or in a history book.
Yes.
In college or even in kindergarten.
Kindergarten doesn't matter.
It starts in kindergarten.
If the school says it.
Yeah.
Or if you check out a book in the library, it's true.
So it starts in kindergarten, or actually earlier. And if that's what we've been told all our life, then we are just supposed to assume that it's true.
And you're kind of a bad person.
You're kind of a bad person when you question it. And actually, I think little kids like who just innocently would question these things because some of them are so outrageous get in trouble.
Danny, you're going to Saturday school now.
Yeah.
You don't ever question whether or not that guy that looks like a woman that's wearing a dress, you don't question if that's good or not.
No.
Otherwise you get Saturday detention.
And you don't question that, the earth might not be round.
You don't ever ask that. The earth is round.
Yeah.
And we've been to the moon.
Yeah. So shall we start with like the some of the top. I
Let's start with the
these are, yeah, these are like the top. These are
Earth.
like, that's the top one. We're going to start with the top three, but that's the top one assumption. Okay, so we've all been taught at this point. At this point, I think every generation that's alive now probably has been taught that the Earth is round. And
Duh.
it's funny because I saw this video. This was just a couple years ago, and it was a flat Earth guy that was doing this documentary.
Flat Earth Dave.
It wasn't Flat Earth Dave, it was somebody else, but he was interviewing this old lady, and she was like probably in her late 80s or so, and he like told her, he goes, we believe that the earth is flat and stuff. And she started crying. She was so overcome with emotion because she said that that's the way she learned it when she was a little tiny kid, and then like the story just suddenly changed, and then growing up she had to learn a whole new thing. So I don't know when that video was made. It could have been
You
older,
know what it reminds me
you
of
know.
is like when you play golf, you have to grip the club correctly.
Uh-huh.
And in order to go from like a motorcycle grip where you just grab like this to an interlocking grip, which is correct, you got to get worse before you get better.
Oh,
And that's kind of what it's like when you have to learn new information
it's
that you've
true.
been told your whole life.
Totally. So I think this one is a really, really hard one for probably most people to wrap their heads around because it's so huge, and it basically is um it's like every person has been taught this from the time they were a very tiny, small little kid. I mean, there's like models and things, and like things that hang from little kids' ceilings and everything, depicting this map of what we supposedly live on. And to wrap your head around the idea that this whole idea could be a lie, and it's something completely different, is, I think,
I just had an
overwhelming.
epiphany.
What?
Well, they've been controlling this ever since Copernicus and what was the other dude around that time? Um, Isaac Newton.
Mm-hmm.
I think those dudes were Culture Club.
Totally.
Those guys were Culture Club, and they came out and they started managing the takeaway back then.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they do that? Is why do they want us to be on a plantation in terms of the earth and our understanding of it? Is because they want to control our movement.
Exactly. So, I don't know if we're ever going to know the truth about a lot of these things, but I think what we're trying to talk about in this rabbit hole is that we have to at least ask the questions and keep an open mind, like we like to say, and, um, realize that it's possible that the things that we've been taught may not be true, and it could be something totally different.
Well,
So,
like what I was just thinking was, there's a good chance we will never know what happened in the JFK assassination, but whether the Earth is flat or round, I think there might be a reveal.
you think that would?
I don't think they're going to be able to hide the. They're not going to be able to move the food around on the plate forever. I think there's too many people talking about it, and the world is such a small place now with information that you could have a friend that lives in Patagonia down at the South, South America, the bottom of South America, and just go down and visit them. And then you could just be like, let's go as a group out to Antarctica and let's just, even if we get arrested, like, I don't care. I'm devoted to this. Let's find out what happens.
Yeah,
I think that could happen.
it could happen. And so, some people, like, there's probably people listening, probably even like a lot of our listeners might not be on board with this idea because it is really huge. Um, but we just remind you, keep an open mind.
Well, why? Because if you start to entertain the idea that the world is flat, there's other things that start to collapse. Like,
Yeah,
we didn't go to the moon.
yeah.
NASA is a big, like, scam.
Well, we're going to talk about that next. But people often ask, like, they say, well, what would be the point of this? Why would they lie about that? Why would they make that up? Why would they, well, I mean, again, we won't know all the reasons for these things, but one possible reason is kind of like what you were referring to, which is, you know, um, what do they always want to do with all of their plans? Is they want to control us.
You corralled in like when you go to small Native American Girl Valley. What happens? I'm working in the parking lot at Squaw Valley. I say, you park here.
Hmm.
That's what they want to make sure that you do.
They want to control us, corral us, and keep us caged. So the way I look at it is it's almost like we're caged birds and we have a fairly large cage, but we're not allowed to fly outside the cage. We're not allowed to go to Antarctica. And people are like, oh yeah, they have cruises and stuff. But those cruises only like just touch on the outskirts. They don't actually go into like the Iowa of Antarctica. And why is it that every country in the world agreed on that one point that nobody can go in there and explore? I think that there there's more land out there and they're keeping us caged into this area, and we have, like you were saying, there's the world has become such a smaller place now with technology and information and communication that, getting on an airplane in like 1950 and flying from, California to New York was like a huge deal.
Yeah,
But,
it's
now
routine.
it's routine. And, could it be possible or maybe it's already possible because they hide technology from us, that we could possibly fly, you know, 20,000 miles in 5 hours
Totally.
on a
Like the Concorde.
yeah, like on a super speed plane. So maybe, it's possible that we could fly or take a boat into Antarctica or past it. And it's possible that there is like basically our Earth where we are is just kind of like an island, and there's more islands surrounding it to
Like the UN seal.
yeah, to infinity. And it's like, I think that's a very real possibility because, they tell these lies that are so huge and so outrageous that they're so big that people can't really wrap their heads around the idea of it not being true. And so rather than to question that as being outrageous and absurd, they accept it and say, okay, and they don't question it because it sounds so outrageous. So it's like, you know,
And then the controlled opposition keeps you in a mental plantation and tells you you think within these
you think
guidelines.
this way because I don't feel like, they tell us that we're on this ball and we're spinning millions of miles an hour.
Yeah.
That sounds outrageous to me.
And your
How it,
spirit doesn't believe that.
how is that possible? How could we be spinning millions of miles an
You
hour
know what it reminds me
and
of?
all the water stays where it is and we're not dizzy? And I mean, I get dizzy if I go on a merry-go-round.
But they have Kool-Aid for you to answer that question. And they
Yeah,
have people that are locked in a bubble that will tell you all of the reasons.
it's gravity.
It's gravity
They
that
explain it with
they'll explain
they
it.
pick a magic word like gravity and they go, "You're dumb, butterfly. You're just a cute little butterfly. You don't know any better. It's gravity."
About 25 years ago, I haven't been to Vegas in about 25 years.
Wow.
It's been 25 years. Last time I went to Vegas, it was kind of depressing. I saw all these like old ladies smoking cigarettes and playing slot machines, and I was just like,
That's
dude,
what
I
happened.
don't want to go here. So, anyways, I went to the MGM Grand. Have you ever been there?
Oh yeah, I've been there.
So, I go to the MGM Grand, and I got really depressed because in the MGM Grand they have this big cage, and there's two lions in there.
Oh, I know, it's horrible.
Now,
I've
the
seen
lions have
that.
a fairly large like habitat,
Yeah.
but you're still depressed.
That's not their natural habitat.
I think informationally speaking, we're those lions at MGM Grand.
Yeah.
We have a pretty large habitat, but
Yeah.
we're in a cage.
Right. And we want to know what's outside of the cage.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I
those
mean?
poor lions just have to stare at like old ladies
That's
smoking cigarettes and playing slot machines.
That's why when those lions get out, they like rip the faces off of their trainers.
Like Siegfried and Roy. One of them got
He
attacked.
got pissed and he just attacked.
He was like, I've been watching this lady smoke cigarettes and drink vodka tonics and gamble. I'm gonna attack.
He's like, I've been living with you and your partner and like laying on these fur rugs on your marble floors for the last 10 years,
Ugh.
like done.
Well, like their habitat watches over like the slot machines. And it's just like, dude, if you go to Vegas and you see people sitting at slot machines, it's such a disgusting behavior.
It is.
It's like if you have tattoos on your face and you're a fat Dodger fan, you fit right in.
Totally.
But anyways, I digress.
So anyway, that is one of the main big assumptions that we are to believe as human beings.
We're on a round planet, shut up.
Yeah. And one of the other big ones is dinosaurs.
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 They're extinct now.
Have you noticed that only like professional like paleontologists seem to ever find the bones?
Remember, it was the girl who worked out on the island, her boyfriend.
Who's a paleogeno what was
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Excuse me.
geopaleontologist?
Yeah, it's kind of like a triple under the P. It's
Yeah.
kind of a tough one to get out. He was a, excuse me, I'm a paleogeneticist.
Yeah, or was he a geopaleontologist? I don't know. Is there a difference?
Yeah, he
There's a
has that.
difference.
It's geo. I added geo to look a little bit more like, impressive. But so his girlfriend, she works out on the island, and she goes, excuse me, those birds are invasive. That's why we tagged that bird's beak with
He's
a blue.
bad.
He's a bad
That
bird.
was from our Mother Nature is being micromanaged episode.
That's right.
That was a good one.
That's right. So she's out there, but her boyfriend, he found the dire wolf bone.
Yeah, because only those people seem to find those bones. Like you never hear about like somebody just digging in their
Nancy's German Shepherd
backyard.
found one in her backyard.
Yeah, like you know how some dogs like to dig really deep?
Yeah.
Like I've never heard like somebody say, "Oh my gosh, my Labrador retriever came home with this weird bone, and
Yeah.
it turns out it was a dinosaur bone." And like where I live, I guess the dinosaurs were roaming at one time.
It's always found on a dig by some like paleogeneticist, and he goes,
Yeah.
so what we've uncovered here is two different dog bones, two different bones. One of them is from a dire wolf from 6 million years ago, and the other one is from a dire wolf that's much deeper in time, probably 11 to 12 million.
Yeah, and they can determine that.
I can determine that by using half-life and carbon dating, which is another Kool-Aid assumption that we're supposed to accept.
Yeah, so that's one of the magic words they come up with to answer those questions for you, dumb firefly. Like, poor dumb firefly for asking these things, but it's because of carbon dating.
It's because of carbon dating. I can determine this.
Yeah, we can determine that this bone was 4 million years old and this other one was 16 million years. We can absolutely determine that.
That's another Kool-Aid that they use that you're supposed to just accept is when they age things and they say, well, the Earth is 40 million years old and these birds are 11 million years old.
Yeah, so that's another huge thing that we're supposed to assume is true. That these animals were from the crustacean period.
Crustacean.
And let's not confuse that with the what was the other what was one of the other periods?
Well, there's Cro-Magnon. Yeah. Well, those are the cavemen.
Yeah. Oh, that's another.
It's like the missing link. Remember him?
Totally.
He was like, "Well, I'm between the caveman and modern man. Yeah. I was the missing link."
I'm the missing link.
That's a big assumption.
But they make up these huge, time periods where they tell us that like these animals lived 200 million years ago, and they're able to tell us that animal lived 200 million years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he was probably wiped out because of like the ice age.
What's the other dinosaur assumption that we're supposed to accept? And my mom still offers me this Kool-Aid and I refuse it.
Does this have to do with gasoline?
Yeah. And she goes, well, you don't understand. The dinosaurs, they, so they died and their bodies became oil and that's all we have left. We're going to run out of oil because there wasn't that many dinosaurs.
So that's a fear tactic that they love. They love to use fear.
It's scarcity.
Scarcity.
They want you to feel scared that there's scarcity.
Yeah, and they've scared people into thinking that we're running out of gas, so we all have to go electric. And
that's it.
That's the other big.
The 15-minute city is called scarcity.
Yeah,
you have to go into the 15-minute city because of scarcity.
Totally, and so that's a huge one too. So it's like I just have to ask if these animals that lived 200 million years ago, and we know that as a fact,
Mhm.
had all so many bones,
Their bones.
they had so many of them
Yeah.
that they have provided us with oil
They
for
fuel my Honda.
200 million years later.
Good, good, good.
They've provided us with oil for all these years. Like, how long have human beings been using oil? Like,
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah.
Those animals provided all that oil, but
It's
now
running low.
suddenly
It's
we're
running
about
low.
to run out. All of a sudden we're about to run out.
Just when Al Gore came out and
I
told
was
us.
gonna say Al Gore.
He
We were supposed to run out like 20 years ago, right?
See, Al Gore
That's
is
kind of
the
a bummer.
ass. Al Gore makes an ass out of you and me
Totally.
because that brings up another assumption that we're told. It's Danny Ainge.
Totally. Well, before we move away from dinosaurs,
And we've got more. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
have
What's another
well,
assumption?
I just had one other little mini epiphany.
Go
You
ahead.
were talking, I thought of it.
Mhm.
Um, because you know how we were saying only like the geopaleontologists find these bones.
Yes, yes.
What if all the bones were planted by Satan?
They're there.
You
Totally.
know how like you have like little kids' birthday parties and like you hide things like for
Yeah,
like a scavenger hunt?
exactly.
Maybe like Satan and his minions, because I don't want to get fact checked by Wikipedia, but probably his minions. What if they go out and they like plant
Totally.
these 200 million-year-old bones somewhere and they go, paleontologist, now
Yeah.
you go dig over here, and they rope it off. This is like your little digging hole, like
You know
like
what?
a sandbox.
What I was
Here's your
thinking too,
shovel.
for that specific dire wolf thing,
Uh,
if it could have been just a regular dog that died,
I know, totally.
and they just took, so Satan just took those dogs' bones and just said, "Look here, you
Yeah.
guys, I want you to say that you found these in an egg.
And they're 8 million years old.
Yeah, this is actually from a lab that died last week, and this is the rib bone, and this is the leg bone.
Yeah.
But what I want you to tell everybody, I want you to tell, I want you to tell everybody that this one bone is from a dire wolf. First of all, it's a dire wolf.
Yeah.
It's got to be a dire wolf because walkers kind of like LARPing in with mythical creatures.
Yeah. Like something outrageous. It has
You can, you know what would work?
it adds to the
Oh my
story.
God. This is my prediction. Over the next year, there's gonna be a news story, and it's gonna be like, "Oh my God, we found dragon bones."
Oh, totally.
This dragon bones, because dragons lived 80 million years ago, and there was times where dragons were alive during human times, and we've now found a bone.
I actually think there might have been dragons
There could have been.
because there's like drawings in caves and stuff that
Yeah.
look a whole lot more like dragons than other things.
And I'm not saying that there
Yeah.
wasn't dragons. I believe there could be dragons too. But what I'm saying is, Satan will come out with like a Labrador Retriever bone
Yeah.
and say, well,
It's a dragon.
this is a 40 million year old dragon bone.
Yeah, totally.
So I agree with you. I think Satan kind of leaves those things behind because what Satan's learned is you can control people's minds and control their minds with little artifacts like that.
And I think that the paleontologists that go out on those digs, they're all drinking the Kool-Aid.
It's Kool-Aid.
They're all drinking the Kool-Aid. Like like they wanted to go to school and study for years and years to be a paleontologist, so they could go dig up dinosaur bones.
If you go to any museum, there's Kool-Aid there. Like I went to the Channel Islands Museum,
Mhm.
and you go out to the Channel Islands Museum and you read about the marine life in the Channel Islands, and there's a lot of Kool-Aid in there.
There's total Kool-Aid.
There's Kool-Aid in terms of like endangered species, and there's Kool-Aid in terms of how old the islands are.
It's all like just huge outrageous stories so that you can't possibly like question it.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what it
Because
is.
nobody, like a normal person, does not have the database of knowledge in their brains to be able to say, no, I know that that's not true.
I can't contradict that right off the bat.
Yeah, all you have is your own common sense, and common sense would tell you that that's an outrageous story, and it kind of doesn't make sense that you walk into the metropolitan
Yeah, yeah,
museum
yeah.
and you see this huge animal all out of bones, and they tell you that it was recreated by just two of the bones.
That's what you're
It
supposed to
was
believe.
we found the rib bone and we found the elbow bone, and we were able to recreate this entire animal. So I'm like, so you're
You know
telling
what
me
you
this
do?
isn't even actually the real bones?
You just had an epiphany though, and I think this is what people have to do. This is kind of a white bill. Where I know we have other ones, but that you just made me think of the white bill.
Okay.
Because what did you say? You said when people tell you that you're on a spinning globe, your spirit doesn't line up with that.
Yeah.
There's something in your being that says that doesn't sound right to me. That I think you people need to listen to.
Exactly. I mean, that's what I was listening to during the whole cooties fiasco.
That's right.
That's another lie that we're going to talk about. It's like, I don't know, when you hear a story that doesn't make sense, I think there's something inside you that's telling you there's a reason why it doesn't make sense, you know?
You know where I used to get that from, and now I totally get it, is when my parents used to watch Cosmos with Carl Sagan, or they'll watch now it's like Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Oh, God.
and they come out and
So
you
ridiculous.
know what it is? It's like this Kool-Aid about space and about how far away planets are
Oh,
and
yeah.
how far away stars are
Yeah.
and how old things are.
Hmm.
All of that, in my opinion, is Kool-Aid.
Hmm.
And people drink it down. They go, "Oh my God, Neil deGrasse Tyson is so smart."
Oh, my gosh. So I don't know if it's but I just had this image in my mind of like, it's so weird. It's like a scene for a movie. I had this image of like all these people sitting in their living rooms, like individually, like if this was to be filmed as a movie, it would
Yeah.
just be like a montage of like different families just sitting in their chairs watching TV at night as a family. And they're all just like totally just kind of like zombies, just believing everything that
Dude,
they're being
my
told.
parents are both
You
smart.
know what I mean?
My dad has he's got an MBA, master's, bachelor's, and he's smart. My mom has a master's. These are smart people, but they would sit there and watch Cosmos and drink that Kool-Aid
Mhm.
without questioning it. Because I think the boomer generation was more inclined to swallow what they were
I
told
think so too.
by schools
They were
and the
trusting.
media. They
Yeah.
trusted.
Yeah.
And that's all Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Totally.
So,
Well,
anyways,
should we
let's move on.
I think this is
Dinosaurs, we've talked about the flat earth, we've talked about the dinosaurs.
what about that trip to the moon?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I mean Simi Valley. I mean, no, I mean the moon.
So, are you trying to suggest that a dude didn't go up there and hit a 6 iron?
Well,
How dare you?
I also find it very strange that in 1969 they had the technology and were able to fly to the moon, and
We
President
lost that.
and yeah, President Nixon was able to call them and talk to them on the landline. But
One giant step for man, one small leap for mankind. By the way, I'm talking to you from the moon.
yeah, but we have not been able to go back there since because we
What?
lost the
We
technology.
lost several
That's
buildings of
so
technology.
so I yeah, that's a good point.
Like huge buildings full of data
Yeah,
just have disappeared.
right. Because like now you can have a lot of technology just in the palm of your hand. But
Yeah.
I think back in 1969 they had remember they had like stuff like teletype machines and like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like the computers weren't really small,
They're
like
big.
in the palm of your hand type of computers.
No.
They were like huge. Like they took up like probably entire buildings.
So it's not like the space program was on somebody's phone and he left it at a bar.
Yeah, or maybe it was.
No, that's all it was.
Maybe
It
it was
was
just
just
written on a bar napkin somewhere, and they go, "Hey, they're getting some drinks," and they're like, "We could totally film this, like,
what's
out in the
the
desert."
what's Satan's motivation? Like how does he benefit from convincing people that we have a space program, we went to the moon?
Well, a lot of reasons, like, it could be a huge money laundering scheme
That's what I was
because
thinking.
we're spending a lot of
How
money.
much
Oh,
on NASA?
billions. All those astronauts and the people working at
What if
NASA.
all of that money was just
It's
nefarious?
just going to, like, the government and, like, the CIA and
And
stuff.
they don't do good stuff.
Yeah. So that's a big reason for it. And I think
But also, I think it's a double-edged sword. It's money laundering,
yeah,
but NASA is also Kool-Aid for people's minds.
it's total Kool-Aid. Like I'm picturing that movie scene in my head again. people watch this stuff and they like it. It's like Kool-Aid, it's a blue pill, you know?
You know what I think it kind of suggests is if you can get people to accept NASA, you can get them to accept Danny Ainge.
Mhm.
Because in order to accept Danny Ainge, you have to kind of accept that we're on a globe and
We're running out of
we're
everything.
running out of the dinosaur bones, and you need to stop eating meat and get into your 15-minute city. I think in order for people to drink that Kool-Aid, they have to immediately assume the very first thing, which is
We're spinning.
you're on a globe spinning around.
Yeah. I mean, that makes me dizzy just thinking about it.
Just
So it's hard to wrap your head around something when you're dizzy, you know?
let's go for a whirl.
I mean, so like what it all boils down to is control.
It's control.
It's control.
It's control.
You
It's
know?
exactly because
It's
you're the lions at MGM Grand.
yeah,
You have a habitat, but it's confined.
yeah. And maybe you think it's pretty big and maybe you live on a farm or something and you've got like 8 acres and you feel like you've pretty much got a big space to roam around in, but you know what? It could be a lot bigger.
And I think that's a blue pill. I think you just mentioned a very common blue pill is people they have their Teslas or maybe they're on a farm and people they look at their situation and they go, "Well, I don't want to rock the boat.
Right.
I've got kids in college. I got my job. I got my Tesla. I got my house. You know, we go to Korean barbecue and we go to the Dodger game. So people are kind of like complacent
Complacent.
and they're happy to just accept these things. And then to question things, there might be consequences
Right.
to question things.
And I think a lot of people don't really see, like, first of all, they're like, why would they lie about that? But then they're like, well, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
But you know what? It makes a huge difference because,
Well,
like, if we, the very, like, idea of where we are in this world, if we don't even know that, like, I keep going back to this whole point, which is if if you don't even know where you are in the world, then how do you know where you're going?
that's a good
You
point.
know, it's like, and people might say, well, I'm just happy right here. Well, but don't you want to know like where your cage door is? You know, I'd like to know where the cage door is. And I'd like to
Well,
be able to go outside of it.
what happened with that one lady? And she was like, you know what? It's just too scary, butterfly.
Yeah, I don't want to ask questions anymore.
I don't want it. I'm just gonna accept what they told me. And what I was thinking was, what if the Pokies had some chemical in them that makes people compliant? Like I
Ugh,
was thinking,
totally.
what if, you know, because it seems like people are becoming more and more compliant. And then the other thing I was thinking is, what if somebody took the Pokies and drink Starbucks every day?
Yeah.
They might totally be compliant. Like they're just going to go along with whatever narrative is foisted on them.
Well, let's talk about that other rabbit avenue then that we were going to bring up,
Which one?
which is
It's another Rabbit Avenue.
yeah, since you brought that up, um, you know, drugs and healthcare.
Yes.
I think that's a huge
Well,
assumption that we're supposed to just assume all of this stuff is true. Like you were telling me about a commercial you saw yesterday. I've seen a bunch of these, like talking about some, like if you have this nervous tick or uncontrollable movements, then here's a drug for you. And why are all these health problems being talked about right now? Is it possible that those are all side effects of like other big the
Pokies.
pokies and
Well,
other
how
big
many people
shawarma?
took the Pokies? We're assuming
Yeah.
between 100 and 150 million people in this country alone.
So
So, and all of them are going to have gnarly side effects
it's so
because we don't even know what's in there. Remember, the pharmacist furnished the lady with the insert and what was on it.
nothing. This is these. Here's the ingredients. There's nothing in it.
And she,
It's
and then,
air.
and then he just goes, "I know I shouldn't be giving these shots, but have a nice day. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back to work."
So I mean, it's so gaslighting that they're doing this, but
Well, so the commercial, what I saw, because I was watching James Bond.
you
Boom.
love James Bond.
I love. Well,
I love James Bond
I
too.
only love Sean Connery.
He's hot.
Sean Connery. Oh,
Yeah,
you like Daniel Craig.
I like Daniel.
I don't like Daniel Craig as much as Sean Connery. I just think
Really?
Sean Connery is the
Sean
ultimate.
Connery was
Nobody nailed it.
smooth.
Nobody nailed it.
He was total James Bond.
And the chicks dug him, and you could almost believe that chicks dug him.
Oh,
The other
totally.
Bonds, I'm kind of like, I'm not
Yeah.
really buying that you're a ladies' man.
You know who I heard might be the next one is Idris, what's his name? Idris Elba.
Oh, it's Black Bond.
Yeah.
The Black
I
Bond.
think he would be really good actually.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Anyways, my point is, so I'm watching Bond, but it's got commercials.
Okay.
So I record it so I can fast forward to commercials.
Oh yeah.
But the first commercial comes on before I could grab the remote. And the first commercial goes, are you on antidepressants?
Ah.
And are your antidepressants causing you to have uncontrollable muscle movement?
Oh God.
Which sounds gnarly.
So they're just admitting straight out that their drugs are giving you these side effects.
So
they're not even trying to hide it.
But there's an assumption. There's an assumption there that they just accept you. They expect you to accept.
Yeah.
What's the so that didn't take long for them to spit that out of their mouth.
No.
That's like a 10-second soundbite. It's like, are you on antidepressants and having uncontrollable muscle movements? That takes 10 seconds
because so many people are.
But but it doesn't take long to spit that out.
Yeah.
But there's a few assumptions in that little soundbite.
Yeah.
One of them is that we can create a product that's antidepressant.
Yeah.
Like you're depressed and we can give you a pill that's going to take care of that. You're going to have happiness now.
So is it possible that they've given you something already that's made you depressed?
Exactly.
So that you have to go get their antidepressant?
Well, I was thinking, is it possible that we live in a dystopia that's been created on purpose and maybe you're depressed about that?
Yeah.
It's
you're
like
living in a cage.
You're living in a cage. There's like misery everywhere. You might get bummed out.
Right.
Like me and you have talked about how important it is to not get Eeyore.
Yeah.
But you have to do it through white pill and red pill. You can't do it through taking their shawarma pill.
Right.
Shawarma pill is
Shawarma pill, no good.
Yeah.
No
so,
good. It's a black pill.
In order to deal with the urban blight, you do have to take a pill, but you have to take a red pill and white pill. You do not take the shawarma pill.
And we prescribe those.
We prescribe the right pills.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was thinking that's an assumption is right there is we have pills that are antidepressant. That right there is probably total Kool-Aid. They don't do anything to help you with your depression.
All they do is give you tics and muscle jerks.
Now
you've got and you're constipated and have diarrhea.
Like now you're like, did you ever see a fish called Wanda?
I think so.
Remember, he's like, it's Ken coming to kill me because Ken had a stuttering problem. Like, what? Maybe that's what happens to you now.
Yeah.
Now you're a stutterer or whatever because you've been taking big shawarma.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an assumption that we are just supposed to accept. And the other thing too is we're supposed to accept that the Rockefeller healthcare system is the way to go with all my health problems.
Totally.
Here's another assumption. If you get to a certain age, you should just go to your doctor and have a checkup routinely.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? You go into the doctor and you say, I feel great, but why don't you go ahead and run some tests and tell me if I'm great?
That's giving them the green light to like prescribe everything.
Larry Ellison, remember, he comes out and he goes, we're going to have a AI vaccine that we're going to give you.
Yeah.
And what it's going to determine is we're going to look at your blood platelets because what we found is some people have pre-cancer tumors in their blood platelets.
We're going to tell you if you're going to get cancer in 5 years.
So Butterfly, you look great and you're feeling great.
And everybody's going to be getting cancer in 5 years.
I'm afraid everyone's going to get cancer because they all take pokies. But we're not going to say that.
Even the ones who didn't take pokies, we've determined you're going to get cancer.
Because that was what Mike Edon was saying. He was like, this is going to cause turbo cancers because turbo cancer is gnarly. It's kind of like that song from Judas Priest back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. I'm your turbo lover. Oh, but no, this is turbo cancer. And I think turbo cancer is caused by the pokies.
Oh, for sure.
So then they go, oh, do you have cancer? Here's some big shawarma to manage it.
Yeah. We're going to give you this pokey poke and it's going to prevent you from getting that. And oopsie, I don't know what happened, but now you've got it.
So. And that was all, I know I'm kind of deviating, but that was all predicated on assumptions too, is first of all, it's an assumption that there's this virus that's been released.
Yeah.
And it wasn't released by us. It was released just wild. It was some guy ate a pandolin in a Chinese wet market.
Mhm.
That's how it was. That's an assumption.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah, because they saw that guy eating that, and they know that he got sick, and then
no,
he, like, kissed his wife, and then she got it, and then
no.
she's a school teacher, and she spread it to all the children, and then,
And then a very, very early assumption from Cooties was these Chinese guys convulsing on the street,
Yeah,
that's gonna happen to you.
right. That
That's
was
on its way.
if that was even real.
So the assumption there is that there's this virus out there. So we're supposed to accept that, but then we're supposed to accept that you need to go get this shot because of this virus. So all of these assumptions, and how many people just went, okay,
I know, what about the assumption that, that shot is actually gonna do something good for you, and it's gonna keep you from getting that virus?
my
That's an
mom just told me
assumption.
that the other day because my mom took the shot.
Mhm.
Even after I pleaded with her to not,
That's so sad.
she went and took the shot. And she was telling me, she goes, you and your dad got really sick. I didn't because I took the shots. So she's still drinking that Kool-Aid.
Wow.
Like she's still drunk on it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if the shots make people drunk on Kool-Aid.
It's really hard to get people like that to, like, change their mind at all. You know what I mean?
The assumptions have taken.
You know what I find interesting though is, like, those people that are, still wearing masks because
Oh my God.
they assume that first of all, they assume that the masks are protecting them,
That's the wrong assumption.
but, they assume that they took this pokey poke that was gonna protect them, but yet somehow I guess they don't believe it fully to
Have you ever heard of
100%
the Kool-Aid? The
because
Kool-Aid is this. It's like, well, see, butterfly, you just don't get it. The Pokies, what they made it is so I didn't get so sick that I had to go to the hospital.
Oh,
They didn't make it so I couldn't catch it.
oh, and then the ones that went to the hospital, they said it made him so not so sick so that they would die.
That's what it
Yeah,
was.
and also, um, it's like, the other problem is that, uh, they they assume that I totally forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, they assume that if they go get the Pokies, it's gonna make it so they don't get as sick.
Oh,
And also, I not only did I not get as sick, but also I made sure that I still have to wear my mask
yeah,
because even though I got the pokies, I still couldn't get sick from this thing, and the mask is keeping me safe.
and then the other thing that I actually just remembered was, they, also assume that the people that didn't get it are somehow the ones that didn't get the pokey poke are somehow gonna get them sick even though they got the pokey poke. You know what I mean?
That's another assumption, and
Like,
that's very effective for Satan. Satan goes, good, good,
so they can
good.
hate those other people, but
You can hate them.
I just find that very strange because it's like, well, didn't you get the pokey poke to protect yourself? So you don't really have anything to worry about now,
Butterfly,
right?
you're bursting my bubble, and I'm gonna get mad.
I know. You know what? This
We're gonna have to do a sequel.
we're gonna do part two because
We haven't even gotten to
we
the other
haven't even
ones.
gotten to like the other half of the list, and this list goes on and on.
So
But
let's pin this one here and continue on with our next episode from the other assumptions
yeah, because
because we haven't even begun to scratch the surface.
we haven't even scratched the surface, and even though we can't go down every possible rabbit hole, we have a few other big ones that we need to like talk about. So stay tuned for part two.
You know what? I'm glad that we did this though, because I think this is an important part of the agenda.
I think so too.
These assumptions that we're just supposed to accept.
Yeah, by tuning into the news.
That's right. Okay, good talking to you. I'll talk to you
Too.
soon.
Bye.